Hi, welcome back to Therapy Designs. If you're new to this channel, my name is Kelly, and this channel is all about print-on-demand everything. So if that is a subject that you're interested in, please hit like and subscribe and stick around. So in today's video, I'm going to go over how to make this design right here. This is a St. Patrick's Day design. As we are at the beginning pretty much of February, we are going to start looking at March in terms of what we're designing for, because remember, you want your stuff to be up usually a good month in advance so that people see it and have time to buy it and get it in time for a holiday. So if I'm looking to sell this for St. Patrick's Day, I want to have it up usually at least a month early. So if you're watching this now, you'll have plenty of time to design and get it up in time for sales. And so that's kind of my thinking there. I know we haven't even hit Valentine's Day yet, but it would be a little bit late right now to start putting Valentine's Day stuff up. So if you want to learn about this design and how to go ahead and create it, please do stick around. Okay, so I am on Canva's homepage, and we're going to go ahead and start with a custom size, and I will be using 4500 by 5400 pixels because I am designing for a t-shirt today. Now I will be optimizing my design for a darker color, so I'm going to go ahead and still select black as my background color to design on, just because I think that tends to sell better. Now we are going to be doing a St. Patrick's Day design, and there's different ways you can go with St. Patrick's Day in terms of colors, by the way. You can design for a green shirt and use other colors that look good on green, but green shirts are not necessarily available on all platforms. You can get green shirts on Amazon merch, but depending on what print provider you're using, it may be harder to get green shirts on other platforms. And on Amazon merch, you cannot get green. Let's see, a regular green sweatshirt, regular green hoodie, long sleeve shirt, tank top, none of those come in green, which is why I tend to find it easier to design on black or white and put the green on the shirt than have the shirt itself be green with other colors. So just things to keep in mind, because whatever you design, if you're going to put it on a shirt, you do have to have a product that is going to work for it. So I'm going to be designing for black, and I'm going to use more green design elements to make it more St. Patrick's-y. So with that in mind, I'm going to go with what I think is a pretty popular St. Patrick's Day niche, and there are a lot of different St. Patrick's Day niches out there. And this one is just going to say St. Patrick's Day drinking team. So it is a great group shirt, and the great thing about group shirts is you'll usually sell more than one if it's meant for a group. This could be sold individually as well, but just to keep in mind, if you're doing matching group shirts, that's a great way to make 5, 6, 7 sales all at once, depending on the size of the group. So group shirts are always a great idea, by the way. So let's go ahead. We're going to make our St. Patrick's Day drinking shirt. So instead of starting with text, I'm going to do this. I'm going to have a banner with text on it. So I want to start with sort of my banner. And so I'm going to go over to Elements. I'm going to search for a banner. And we're going to go with graphics, and there are all sorts of different banners that you can use, and you can use white ones and change the colors. You can use pre-existing ones. Here's a beautiful gold one that might look really good for St. Patrick's Day, because St. Patrick's Day's got lots of gold. There are some more gold ones here that I like. So that one has a little dip. This one, I don't have that little dip. I want something with a lot of writing space. So here's another one here that kind of looks interesting. That gives you a little bit more writing space. And so if you're looking at some of those are kind of cool, all sorts of different banners. I'm going to keep that one as an example, but there are tons, and we can see if I can find other ones that I like. And of course you can get ones and change the color. So any of the basic ones that you want to get, like something like this, and then just change the color to gold, I could definitely, do that and say, hey, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this. And there's a gold banner right there that I can make off of that, if I want it to be more solid versus if I want it to be more 3D looking. So lots of different ways you can go. If you decide on a particular color, by the way, I can always go ahead and put gold banner, and now it's just going to come up with the gold banners. And so this one I like. It's already gold. It looks like this, but it's got a little bit more texture. And so that is an already made gold one that I think looks kind of cool. It's pretty straight across. I do like the curve. I can see if I can find another one that has a little bit more of a curve. Here's this one, which gives that nice shiny gold look, but it has a little bit more of a curve. So far, this one is my favorite. So let's say I'm gonna go with this one. And I do like that. And so the banner is going to say, I'm gonna pull up a text box here for my banner, and it's going to say St. Patrick's Day. And then I'm gonna have drinking team somewhere on the bottom, but there is my St. Patrick's Day, and it is going to go on my banner here. And I'm gonna go ahead, make it into a green color. I can adjust the color or shade of green, you know, later to see what kind of works. But for right now, St. Patrick's Day is gonna go here. It is gonna curve, and again, I can affect the curve a little bit more once I figure out what font I want to go with. But you can see for right now, that's just a placeholder. That's how that's going to look. And, you know, that actually doesn't look too bad. I can probably, you know, come up with a slightly better font than that. But, I mean, that wouldn't be bad by itself. I'm also going to have some drinks. So I want to have some beer in the middle here. So let's go ahead and just go with beer. It could be green beer. It could be regular beer. I kind of like this one here. I don't know what it is about this one, but that one kind of screams to me something really fun. So there's a lot of them. I do like the beers kind of clicking together. So there's different styles of beer. But if I'm going to say drinking team, I'm going to want more than one beer. So I like the multiple beers, you know, kind of clinging together. And so there's a whole bunch of different ones you can go with. Just make sure whatever style you go with is consistent throughout. So you wouldn't want to go with like a grunge style, you know, beer and then have this be a solid or 3D look. If you want, if you know, it either has to be all 2D or all 3D or all grunge or all, you know, shiny or whatnot. So you do need your design to look cohesive. So when you're looking at, you know, different options, go ahead and make sure that they look like they go well together with the whole design concept. And you can grab, by the way, if you're not sure what you want, go ahead and just take a couple and click on them. It'll save them in your recently used. So then later on, if you want to, like, you know, kind of compare and contrast different ones, it's easy to just go to your recently used and see which ones you saved. So sometimes I'll just do that. If I see a lot that I like, I'll just, you know, click on them and then pull them off, and it's going to be saved in my recently used. And so that's easy to do. And now I kind of want somewhat of a little shamrock background. And let's see what I get for shamrock backgrounds. So all sorts of different random shamrocky things that I think might look good. Again, if it's something that you think you might like, but you're not sure, you can always click on it and it'll save it to your recently used. So it's always something that you can use again. So here are some nice green shamrocky things, a nice circly look here. What do I got here that looks kind of cool? So lots of different random shamrocky backgrounds that look cool, things that might just look nice in the background of my design, depending on how I do it, you know. So what I'm looking for is something that I could almost put behind the mugs. That would just sort of be a backdrop, so you can see how that would look. So something like that. I'm thinking maybe a little bit more spread out and maybe not so nicely grouped, but you get the idea of what I'm sort of looking for there. And so when I have an idea of what I kind of want, it's easy just to start grabbing things that you think might look good that you can then, of course, you know, pull out from your recently used. I'm going to add some more flourishes. I do want to pull in a little bit more of that gold, make it look party-ish, like a celebration. You can do things like maybe gold confetti. Let's see if I can find gold confetti and see what comes up. So again, graphics, here's some nice little goldy swirls that I think might look cool. And I can put a couple little goldy swirls here or there. Again, that doesn't have to be so big. Here's a little gold swirl there. Came up with some more that I can use. So lots of other cool gold swirl things. Here's another one that might look nice, and I can have a gold swirl thing over on this side too. And so something that just sort of makes it look party. Speckles that could look cool in the background too, by the way. So something like that might just look good if I did that and then just threw it in the back, because I like all of those little gold specks there. And so hit Control D, throw those gold specks in the back. I got some nice gold there. And so all sorts of ways you can go with sort of that confetti kind of look, or the shamrock look. And of course down here, what I want, the big thing, is going to be drinking team. So this I'm going to do in all caps, and it's going to say drinking team. Oops. And I'm going to put it down here. I can do this in any font color I want. So if I wanted to go with more of a gold color, I could do that. If this one I wanted to be green, I could do that. If I wanted it to be more a nice bright green with a golden background so that it goes more with that, I could do that. So all different ways I can do that. So let's say I took this green and I said, hey, I'm going to do an effect on it. Let's go ahead and throw a shadow background on it. Let's make that shadow background maybe a nice golden color. So maybe I'm taking some of the gold off of here that I think might look good. Lose my transparency, so something like that. Or I could do the same thing, maybe with more of an outline, maybe a golden outline. And again, I can take my gold. Let's see what I got here that might look good in gold. Different shades, obviously. And I could get a gold on the outside there. So lots of different ways I could go with it. And of course, I also want to pick a nice font. So since I'm at this point, let's go ahead and select a font. For this one, I'm going to do something, you know, nice and bold, a little bit narrow because I want it to be big. So the one that I had come up with was one called League Gothic, which, here it is, League Gothic, which is a nice bold font, but it's also nice and narrow, which means that I can make it really big like that. Now, right now, it does not look good with that gold background the way it is and the colors. So what we can do again, I'm going to go ahead and switch it back to shadow because I think the gold shadow might look a little bit better. There's my gold. Maybe make that offset a little bit smaller. And then maybe I need to make this green a little bit of a deeper green, and I can pick any of the greens that I like that maybe come off of here. And so something like that looks kind of cool. Up here, my St. Patrick's Day. Again, if I'm changing the font, a font that I had come up with that I thought looked good was one called Neo Contact, because it was another one that was a little thinner. Neo Contact, which means that I could blow it up. The more narrow a font is, the more I'm able to, to make it bigger so that I can see it really well. And so something like that, and I might use the arrows on my keyboard to try to center that a little bit. So something like that looks pretty good. St. Patrick's Day, I can even space out the letters if I wanted it to cover a little bit more of the banner. So something more like that. And keep playing with my curve. Does it look good now? Open it up just a smidge. Good. And so far so good. I like the way that that looks. This does look good on a dark background, but you know what, I could take this same thing and I could put it on a white background and it still works. And so that's kind of cool. It's a little bit more versatile for white or for black, so that's always helpful. I do think I want a little bit more of that sort of green look in there, and I'm thinking maybe something a little bit more down here that's decorative too. So I can even put things like, I can put in St. Patrick's Day and see what comes up. So sometimes if I'm not sure, I can just search St. Patrick's Day and see what looks good that I might want to incorporate, and then I can do a finer search from there. So if I wanted to incorporate horseshoes in there, if I wanted to incorporate a hat, I can look all sorts of different, hey look, here's a, remember when that dabbing thing was in really big. So lots of different things. I like the little flags here. I could probably find a way to do those flags. I like the Irish sort of flag colors, and so throwing in some of those Irish colors might look good. And so it's giving me some ideas, some of the gold coins, some of the more, look, hey, it's a firework, and I can throw some firework looking designs in the background here too and send that to the back. And that might look kind of cool to throw a couple fireworky things in there if I wanted to. Here's more of those clovers, more fireworks, horseshoes, and so it's just giving me some different ideas of how I can sort of fluff it up, make it look cool, and give it like a fully incorporated look. And it's giving me some ideas for other designs too. I kind of like that little flower there. I do like the Irish flag, St. Patrick's Day look. So I do like to add some of those Irishy colors. Now here's just some like hanging things. Oh, here we go. Magic recommendations. What do I got? Ooh, that looks better. So I got some of the Irish colors here that might look cool if I wanted to do that. Here's ones that have shamrocks on them, on the flags, which I like that. So lots more of these little banner things that look cool. So if I wanted to search for those specifically, let's see how they're titling this. Bunting flag? Bunting flag, is that what that's called? Bunting banner. Banner. Okay, let's do Irish flag banner and see what comes up. Okay, lots of cool Irish flag banner thingies. See if there's anything else that I like here. This one is kind of cool because it's got some of those awesome colors there. And so I could do something like that. I do like the orange. Ah, here's one I like. Okay, so after searching for a little bit and doing some different search terms, I went with St. Patrick's Day flag banner and came up with this one here, which gives sort of the Irish flag look, which I think is pretty cool, and I can just sort of line those up there, and I can group those and make it kind of come all the way across if I want to, so something like that. And so that looks kind of cool. So I'm thinking I really like that one, and I can match those colors here, or I can change those colors to match sort of some of these other colors that I'm seeing. And so some of that looks really cool. So right now I've got like this green here. I can go ahead and take that green and try to match it to this flag green. Let's see. I think it looked better a little bit darker because it popped a little bit more. I can take this green maybe and try to match it to the flag green. Let's see how that looks. And that looks pretty cool, but it might be harder to see on a dark background. And so all these things I'm just playing with. And so that still kind of pops on a dark background if I have the little sort of gold outline. And in fact, I could lose the gold and go with the orange too if I wanted to give it that St. Patrick's Day look. So I could even, let's see if I went with effects and just take a look to see how it might look if I went with the orange instead. So I'm not really loving the orange there. I could go with the white. That would make it pop on a dark background, but you wouldn't be able to see it as much on a white shirt. I do think I actually liked the gold the best, so I might just go back and stick with the gold there. Well, I did like that. I do think it needs a little bit more, maybe fill in with the clovers. So what I can do again is go up to my recently used. It's going to pull up everything that I looked at. So if I clicked on it, it'll pull it up. Cool thing about that is I can take some of these now and see if I can use them anywhere. So if I was to shrink some of that down, maybe bring it on down, send it to the back here, so that I just have a little bit more clovers in the back here, a little bit more clovers in the back there. I kind of like the way that that looks. Maybe I want to bring that gold swirl down a little bit. Maybe I want to add one more firework, maybe on this side even the firework, and maybe shrink it down a little bit so I get a little bit more. and send that one to the back. Actually, the firework I would want to send all the way to the back. Send the firework all the way to the back. And so there we go. So it's kind of a fun drinking design. It's large. It takes up the whole page. So I like the way that that looks. I might go ahead and bring my drinking team up a little bit so that it gives a little bit more space here. And so that looks pretty cool. I like that. I'd probably want to take the whole thing and move it up on the page a little bit there. But overall, I do like the way that this looks. So what I might do is just take the whole giant thing, group all of it together, and then I can take the entire thing and move it up on the page a little bit. And so now it looks like that, and that looks pretty cool. I like that. And so that's a nice, fun St. Patrick's Day drinking team design. Looks great, gives that nice St. Patrick's Day and Irish feel. Looks good on a dark color, but awesome. I can also go ahead and throw this on white, and it still pops and looks good. So anything I can sell on both white and black is always awesome. I suppose if you found a light green shirt, like some of the ones on Amazon, so you've got that light green color, might pop a little bit, not my favorite. And then Amazon also has more of like a regular darker green color or something more like that. And that's not going to look as good, so I probably wouldn't put it on, you know, a green shirt. But definitely for the black or the white, I think it looks really nice. And so I'm going to go ahead and stick with this. So when I'm ready to go ahead and put it on a shirt, by the way, it is how it is. I go up to share in the corner, come down to download. You want to keep it a PNG. It's a transparent background, so you got to click transparent background. I leave the size alone at a 1, so you'll see this little size thing, and it has the pixels, 4500 by 5400 pixels. I leave that alone if I'm doing a shirt, but if I was doing something very large like a blanket, I would want this to be bigger. And so if I was going to make this design and I wanted to put it on a blanket, I might change that 1 here to a 2. And if I did a 1 and changed it to a 2, oops, 2, why is it doing that? It's going to double it. Now it's 9,000 by 10,800 pixels. So now this would be a very large file, but it would work good on something big like a wall tapestry or a blanket, or if I'm making any really large prints. So I've had people ask me about the big prints too, and that's how I would make it bigger. But for a t-shirt, I'm going to go ahead and just leave it as 1, which is just the 4500 by 5400 pixels, and that is plenty. And I don't do anything else. Once I download it, it is ready to go up onto a t-shirt or whatever product I, am making this for. So I hope you guys are doing really well with your Q1, and I do hope to see you guys again soon. That's it for today's video. If you found that useful and would like to see more videos with helpful tips and tricks, be sure to hit like and subscribe and turn on your notifications so you don't miss any of the weekly videos. As always, keep growing and stay creative, and we'll see you next time.